So today we're going to do a twist on a salmon pasta dish. We are going to be substituting your average everyday pasta for our spaghetti squash. It's a great, versatile squash to use, and it doesn't have as many calories or sugars as a processed pasta would. So this is a spaghetti squash. This is small. You can grow it in your own garden. We also will be using salmon, our pesto, carrots, fresh broccoli, fresh spinach, olive oil, salt and pepper, some paprika and ginger for our salmon. Then you'll need a plate, some saran wrap, a knife, your measuring spoons, a skillet, and you'll need to set your temperature on your oven for broil. So our first step, we will be cutting it open. So prep with the veggie part takes about 5 minutes, and cook time takes about 20. Same with the salmon, prep 5 minutes, cooking it takes 15. So we're going to cut it open. I like to cut my spaghetti squash vertically because the ribbons of squash, if you look here closely, the ribbons go in a circular motion. So if you cut it horizontally, you'll cut those bands in half. So you'll just you can take a spoon and you'll just take the guts out, and you can save these seeds. You can roast them, you can toss them, you can save them for next year's garden, whatever you desire to do. So there's just a little bit of goo here. So you have your spaghetti squash, should be cleaned out. And then we're going to put them on our plate, and we're going to do a little holes on the side so the heat can penetrate inside. They're just shallow cuts. You can also do this with a fork. I like to flip my squash back over like this, and then you're going to create a total seal. So it's a heat locked for our microwave. You can also do this in the oven if you prefer. Like I said, I like to use the microwave. It's quicker. It takes about, depending on the size of your spaghetti squash, it can take 10 to 15 minutes to get it to be soft. So I have one side done, and I'm going to saran wrap the other. And it has a nice seal on it, so we're gonna pop it in the oven or the microwave, and we will set it for 10 minutes to start off with. And we're also going to turn our stove on for our pan for our broccoli and our carrots. I set it at medium, and I'm gonna add about a tablespoon of olive oil to our pan. So I've washed our broccoli, and these are just heads of broccoli that I got at the grocery store. We will just trim them off the top so you get the flowerets. This part is called the flowerette, and this one's a little bigger. So I'm just gonna cut that in half. and maybe a fourth. And then you can cut it based on the size that you prefer to eat. So if you like a big chunk, that's fine. You can have a big chunk. I like to have a nice bite-sized piece. So we'll do that with our broccoli. And then remember, you can also save these for our stock that we're going to be making. So I'm just gonna cut them up into a little bit smaller chunks. And that's the stock of the broccoli. And then we have our carrot. I'm going to do a nice diagonal. And I'm doing thinner slices because it takes less time to cook broccoli than it does carrots if they're cut thick. So we're gonna do a little bit thinner slice. Okay, so now that we have our broccoli and our carrots cut, we're going to put this into our frying pan. All right, so we're gonna prepare our salmon. Our oven is set on broil. We're going to add 2 teaspoons of paprika, 1 teaspoon of ground ginger, and we are going to mix this up. So it's a nice even spice set. We're going to take our olive oil, and for each of our salmon fillets, these are available at your local meat counter. You can also, these are available at commodities. We are going to just drizzle a little bit of olive oil, about 1.5 teaspoons on each one. Salmon already comes with a lot of good natural fats that are healthy for you. And if you look, the nice texture on it, you can get salmon with the skin still on or without. These come without. So we're just gonna rub this olive oil on it. And then our pan is prepared with a parchment paper. That's just to reduce cleanup time. All right, so now that we have it all rubbed down, we're going to sprinkle our spices on here. And then you can just pat it in and get the back coated with it. This way your flavor profile goes on the whole piece of salmon. So in every bite, you're getting that nice flavor. Now that this is ready, we're gonna stick it in the oven on broil. And this will be for 10 to 15 minutes. You're gonna wanna check it at the 10-minute mark to make sure it looks like it's getting cooked. Okay, now we're going to be adding our spinach. This is 3 cups of spinach. We're gonna be adding that to our broccoli and carrot mixture. This will cook down for about 4 minutes, and then we will add our spaghetti squash. Our spaghetti squash just went off too, as well. And we can bring that out. So this is what it should look like when it comes out. So you will want to be careful when you are taking off your saran wrap, because you do not want to get a steam burn on your hand. It's very hot, but to know if your spaghetti squash is ready, it will just come off the sides very easily in nice threads like you see here. And this is what you will do for your whole spaghetti squash. So it's coming apart nicely. If you check it out, it looks like spaghetti noodles. All right, so now we have our spaghetti squash. You want to work it so it mostly comes apart easily into long strands. And then we're going to be adding this to our vegetable mixture. Okay, so now we have our 1/2 cup of pesto, and pesto is mostly made from basil. Basil you can grow in your garden. This is a 1/2 cup, and we're going to be just adding it in here and giving it a stir so it is ready for our salmon here. You're going to want to make sure all of the vegetables in this are nicely coated. All right, so it is ready. Our salmon looks like it's perfectly done and ready for plating. So don't panic about the parchment paper being black. It's because it was on broil and it exposed to the high heat from the top of your oven. So it is ready to go. So let's get plating. When we take our salmon out of the oven, how do you know it's done? Because there's not a ton of change on the body of the fish, except for, if you look closely, a lot of the skin that was a bright, rich pink is now a white pink. So each piece will have that. So if you look on the sides, it's full of white. There's another way to tell. If you have a meat thermometer at home, your seafood should be at 135 degrees when it's fully cooked. And then we're going to get our piece of salmon. Here you go. Our salmon and spaghetti squash pesto.